Hi, Chapter 6, Transforming Data. Some attributes of high-quality data. It's accurate. Of course, that makes sense. We want to have accurate data. It's complete, doesn't omit anything. It's consistent. It's really important to present in the same format time over time. That's why keeping a data log is really important to remember from week to week or month to month. What did we do? How did we present the data? It's very important. Timely, when people need it, how they need it, very helpful. And valid, um, making sure it's capturing what it's intended to capture. Data structuring is the process of doing it. So we're talking about structuring the data. It's what it means, the whole process of getting the data together, organizing it, making sure the relationships are correct. Extracting data can mean any number of things, aggregating it, joining it together in different ways, pivoting the data. These terms, aggregating, just presenting it in a summarized format, joining it, and then pivoting, creating it from rows to columns. And I'll create a short video on pivot columns, but there are dozens of other videos on YouTube if you want to find one as well. So aggregating data, this is just a simple @sum function in Excel, right? How many units were purchased, total cost. That's easy. Pivoting the table, so taking it from this format to this. So instead of being with the products going over, they're now columnar. Columnar, I think is the right word. Just presenting it in a different way. And I'll also create a short video on pivot tables, though there are many of those as well. Okay, standardization, very important, making sure that the data is uniform so that it can be manipulated in large blocks of information. Parsing, separating data from a single field into multiple fields. In Excel, that's text to columns or data to column and data and text to columns. I'll create a short video on text to columns. Concatenating, we looked at in the last chapter in that homework assignment. So data parsing, this left part is what it looks like originally. So row 1 has 2/10 and 30, and then we split it out to be 2, 10, 30. I'll do an example of that. As I said, there's some more rows of that. And then concatenations is pulling it together. So putting in that long string of text, one Deshaun Williams, pulling all that together. Second page of that. Okay, so standardization, some key terms to know here. Really, we'll just talk about some terms for the rest of it, and then in the homework, we'll explore more of it further. A cryptic data value is a dummy variable, 0, 1. So in some studies, if we're doing lives in the United States or outside the United States, 0 could be they live in the United States, 1 could be they live outside, or vice versa. The 0 or 1 is meaningless, just to say they have this condition or that condition. NSU alumni or NSU current student or anything. Okay. Misfielded data values are correctly formatted but not listed in the correct place. Data consistency needs to be stored in the same way, very important. Cleaning, just that process we've been talking about of making sure any inconsistent data is cleaned up so it can be manipulated in a large group. Deduplication, finding duplicate values and making sure they actually are duplicate, not just that same person bought that same thing, but on a different day, right? That would not be duplicate. Making sure it actually is duplicate information and cleaning that up. And then data filtering, removing records or fields of information from a data source, just pulling it out, even if it's good data. Imputation, replacing a null or missing value with a substituted value. So it could be in Excel, searching on a block of information, find any numbers, maybe it's a product number or something, or missing fields and replacing it with a certain number. You can do a lot of things with that find and replace. You can find blank fields and put something in, or you can find a certain number that you're looking for, replace it with something else. Using formatting in Excel, you can also replace like regular font with large bold font. I've done that many times. Can be helpful for visually seeing, oh, okay, these are the things I'm looking for. Helpful in a smaller set, not for manipulating large groups of data, but in a smaller group can be helpful. Data contradiction errors that exist in the same entity is described in two conflicting ways. So having two different customer numbers, right? That would not be good. We'll make sure everything is named appropriately. And data threshold violations, data errors that occur when data value falls outside an allowable level. And that could happen just by a keystroke error, or perhaps a calculation was made, but one too many zeros were included, and it made it an exponentially larger than it should be, or anything like that. That's why I'll say that's why just reviewing the data just visually and seeing, does this data look correct? Are these values appropriate and meaningful for what we're looking for? Very helpful. The violated attribute dependency occurs when a secondary attribute in a row data does not match the primary attribute. And then data entry errors, of course, human entry can have all sorts of errors. Okay, data validation, process of analyzing the data, making sure it's good. That informal process, looking at it, formal process, running some tests, sorting it, high, low, different things. Precursor to the cleanings, we're just looking at it, reviewing it, inspecting the data, doing some basic test. What's the mean? What's the sample? What's the sum? What's the range? Yeah, looking at a sample, taking 100 numbers and seeing, what do we have here? What types of products are being sold, or what zip codes, or sales volume, whatever we're looking at. This helps understand what's going on. And that is it. Quick chapter. Again, look for those other short videos where I explain text to columns and pivot tables. But again, always for the data scientist, all this information is out on YouTube. I will create my own for you, but be bold, be curious and investigative, and find if there's any kind of feature you're looking for or how to do it. Somebody's already created it for you, but I'll create those as well.